sex, it's important that you cut it off.
It's important that you talk about your own sex too, because
That's why I said even your sex or opposite sex. Yes, you need to cut it off.
Whatever gender, yes.
Because keeping it platonic. But in this conversation, we're having a conversation about the opposite sex. Like I, as a female, getting married to my husband, and then I have someone who is my best friend of the opposite sex.
You have Chike. The bow of the bullet.
As much as I agree with platonic relationships, sometimes there are underlying issues that may come up in that. Yeah. With your spouse in being in the know that, this person is my wife's best friend. Take, for example, like we talked about last week, saying some conversations.
There was a person who was an elderly man who, anytime he's going through something,
want to use that, but
he drives somewhere to put his head on someone else's thighs, and then they talk, and the person is just
another woman, by the way.
And all of his friends know that, but it's just not. It's something they've been doing since they were young. She's practically his sister now.
Okay. I understand that fact, but I gave a citation. I gave a reply to that.
His wife walks in.
And I said,
why would she walk in?
Somebody has noticed this pattern of him coming to the office over and over again, decides to speak to the wife about it, and she walks in and sees his head on the thigh of another woman, patting, because he wants a best friend to speak with during a particular time in his life that he may be going through a situation.
Yeah.
When your wife is there. And I made mention of something last week, that if you're a spouse that your partner cannot speak to when they're having issues, then you need to check yourself.
What if you are this? What if you are the reason that?
That's why I said if you are the problem, you need to check yourself.
Okay, no, you are now talking.
If you are the problem, you need to check yourself.
Of the heavenlies.
I actually said it last. I said if you are the problem, you need to check yourself, because if you are not approachable, if you're not someone that your wife can easily, or your husband can easily just say, babe, see what happened, and you're not going to throw up a tantrum or start nagging or going up and about the situation. Guess what? Some people even remind you of it when you both have an issue.
Yes, everybody hates Chris. Have you seen that series?
Yes, I have.
Rochelle?
Exactly.
Classic Rochelle.
So, I mean, this is my stance. Honestly, I'm not against you having a best friend that is of the opposite sex, but I don't know the statistics. It has just been proven that sometimes it don't even work. Because guess what? What if the person has underlying feelings for you?
Now, there's this song that I'm going to look for. It's by Lemar Baker. Someone should tell you. I listened to that song with, was it Moses? No, it was Jonathan. Jonathan, the graphics department, on the way home on Friday. Now, the interesting thing is, when this person has an underlying feeling, like I said last week, if you recall, I said if you've been intimately involved with this person at any point, they shouldn't be your bestie. That's the only line I would draw. And then you just put up another valid one. Now, if this person is starting to develop unhealthy feelings that can put your marriage,
sometimes you don't even know that they have that unhealthy feelings throughout the friendship, and you get married and they start confessing love to you, and you're like, okay, let's see. You're asking yourself questions.
If they get bold enough and they start confessing love to you, that is the point where you need to say, thank you very much for this friendship. The Lord has been good to us. This is the point in our lives where we have to go south and north, so that our path will never meet again. Because of course, like I said, a marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. And that, God has joined these two people together. Nobody should put asunder. Those are some of the things.
We actually spoke about boundaries last week. How it's important that if you have a friend, you have to set the boundaries from the get-go.
Yeah.
If it's that this is the person that is your person, and you feel comfortable enough to have some conversations with which personally I think that you should have conversations with your spouse. If you're going through hell and your spouse does not know, and all of a sudden somebody just says, guess what? You know how somebody finds out that their husband may be going through something and the wife does not know? And it's like, okay, I'm here in the house. You go outside, you go to work in the morning, come back at night. You never tell me anything about work. And one day I just hear from your friend, how did you sort out that issue where they said you
stole 5
million? You stole 5 million from the office, and the wife is like, when? How? These are like it bridges the trust in a relationship.
Yeah, it does. And I feel like we need to do better with how we communicate certain things to our spouses. But then, I was talking about the fact that there are some things you might not be able to tell your spouse. For instance, yes, if it's something that could make them start thinking that there's a pattern to some of the things you do. For instance, you do something that is questionable that you do not think your spouse might be able to. Because I feel like the amount of information you give a person is based so extensively on how much they can handle whatever it is you're throwing at them. Conversation on Family Matters at some point where someone said, a lady said that she wanted to marry someone and that she was watching a movie. No, okay, the guy wanted to marry someone, so he was watching a Nigerian movie with his mom and his younger sister at his place. They were watching it on one of these streaming platforms, and while they were watching, they saw a lady single mom conversation and something, and his mom started saying in Yoruba, all these people, they don't go do rubbish, waste their lives, scatter everything. They'll come and find single man, we then go.
And the person he's a single mother.
He's a single mother. So in his mind, he was like, that was what prompted him to send a message to Family Matters, that how was he even going to tell his mom and his younger sister, who should know better, about a woman that he's now in love with, who is thinking of marrying, who has a child outside of wedlock. So looking at that narrative, if you have a spouse who maybe something little has triggered them already about something, it might not be easy for you to open up about certain things, because you feel if you tell them this thing, they'll hold it, and then it comes up in another conversation.
Like I said, yeah.
And that makes them say, okay, but I need to speak to someone about this thing. It's burning in my heart. Do
you think a guidance counselor would have been better than a bestie?
Well, sometimes guidance counselors are not very affordable.
It's
not a very, very interesting conversation. It's not a very, very common conversation in Nigeria. Somebody said they are boring. But if you have a friend I have a friend, a male friend, by the way, whom anytime I do something and I just send him a message, guy, Alpha, we fit talk. He's going to tell me where. You understand? And this was something that we did even while I was working in Lagos, and he's in Ibadan. And every time I go back at the weekend and I just say, guy, Alpha, we fit talk, I just enter town. We are a day now. She will fit around 6 p.m. No wahala. You understand? And we would have those conversations. If that person was a female, that would be the person I would tell that same thing to. Not maybe, and eventually I always tell my wife all the truth. Yeah.
And then you now go back and tell the wife. Tell her,
because, well, you know what thing I did? We say, because of the kind of person with my wife be here, and this is me talking from experience of knowing who your spouse is. I sometimes talk about something that happened last week or something that happened 10 years ago.
Wow.
Just to gauge the reaction. And I'm just saying, this is something I did 10 years ago, like way before I met you. And I narrate, and she's like, okay.
Interesting.
And sometimes she gives an angle to it, and I'm like, okay, thank God I didn't say it happened last week. Because sometimes, for who she's amazing person, very understanding, but I just feel like if I said certain things about certain mistakes that I've made,
she could not,
even with that, I don't think she may not handle well. Of course, there's that thing where could bite you, say, guy, talk, tell him. But the truth is, in trying to be friends, and recently we had a conversation that was not so pretty, and she was like, oh, you're using everything I said to you against when I said you were doing the same thing. And it leads, I don't know if she would still be able to tell me certain things, because sometimes I think for married people, that best friend, we can tell each other anything, doesn't really work within the context of marriage.
Because you don't want your spouse...
making mistakes every day.
Yeah, you're making mistakes every day. Is that best friend going to be the person you're going to be running to every other time? Your wife needs to know, or your husband needs to know some certain things about you. If it's a mistake that you made, find ways to tell them about it. I, for one, I think I'm one person that will use letters. I would write you a letter. I may not. It may be hard for me to have the conversation with you face to face, but I'll write you a letter. Would you
put your tears on the letter and spray some perfume?
I will. I'll definitely write it in a way that he would understand that I'm finding it hard to have the conversation with him.
Yeah.
But he gets to see the letter, because growing up, I remember my dad used to leave the house. He used to leave the house at about 6 before I wake up. So every time I ask for school supplies, he would maybe wait 24 hours, 48 hours. But I'll now have to remind him, Daddy, you haven't given me money for this school supply. It's like, okay, I'm going to send you money. I'm going to give it to your mom. So the hack I found, for some reason, I just said, let me write my father a letter. I think it was a time where they were teaching us how to write letter writing. And I was so curious to write a letter. You. Exactly. So I would bring out my book. So I needed some things from school.
Father.
I'll bring out some. I wish those letters, I wish I could check his bag if I could see those letters. It's been how many years? It's been a long time. So I would write these letters and then send, and then put it under his bed. So he would get back, and my mother would say, your daughter said she wrote a letter for you. The first time it happened, my father opened the letter and then he read it. Guess what? As soon as he was done, he just went into his wallet, took out the money and placed it in between the letter and dropped it. This was less than 24 hours after I asked. So I knew that was the hack to get my father. Write a convincing letter I said that this is what I need, and then at the end of the letter, put prayers.
I wrote a letter.
Prayer, Daddy, God bless you. May you never lack. So I did that as a 7, 8, 9-year-old. And I feel like letters is the way to go. But let's go to the phone line. 0705 8904927 is the number to call. Or you could call us on 0805 092097. What is your take on best friends of the opposite sex
within the confines of
marriage?
It's interesting though, because I feel like there's a place they could stay, but then do not let them overextend their importance within the confines of marriage. Simply put,
you see what you said about what you just said something now.
Like, don't let them overextend.
Because once some people know you, say, she's gonna come. Like, this is the advice. Take it. They know your marriage more than even you.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
If somebody begins to say, I know her. And guess what? Some of these people don't shut up.
Yeah, they won't.
All right, we got to go on this break. But when we come back, we still have this conversation on ground.
May I have everybody's attention, please? Have you heard about Ilera Echo on Super FM 92.7 Lagos?
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
You're one family, one radio, Super 92.7 FM.
What do you think? Do you think that you can accept for your husband or your wife to have a best friend of the opposite sex in your marriage?
Okay, so it's something that I think we must definitely talk about. And it is something that I think we need to all look at, because the world is changing in such a way right now that these are conversations that we're having extensively. And I've had friends that have touched my life in certain ways. And, you know, one thing that I always just make a point to do now is that when I'm meeting new people, I let my spouse know, oh, I met this person, really very nice young lady. She's this, she's that, she's in this line of work.
But when your wife is not comfortable, or when your partner is not comfortable with a particular friend of yours,
the thing is,
what do you do then?
So the first thing I did is, before I got married to my partner, she had to understand my tendency and some of the things that I would do in life. Coming to now, I told her, I have a lot of female friends. A lot of them are this, a lot of them are that. I've never been involved intimately with any of these people. So please rule that out. And that was the conversation that I had with her for a very long time. And every time I meet someone new, she never discovers first. I tell her first.
Tell her first.
Oh, that I met someone and we're friends and we're talking. Oh, this person helped me at the bank.
It's like you doing it so that even at the end of the day, you wouldn't even have the mind to actually do it yourself. Well, okay. I mean, this is the conversation that we're having right here on the Super Breakfast Show, Family Matters Precisely. And this conversation I know has come up like one times too many, about people asking questions about why their partner is having, a best friend that is the opposite sex.
Yeah, definitely.
I cannot
you can't deal with it.
I cannot deal with it. I should be your best friend, shouldn't I?
Well, you should be my best friend, but then if I've had that best friend
for a while,
and
then your partner should be the person that you can have a conversation with. You don't want to have to say things to your partner, your best friend, that will now in turn make your partner feel out of place. Like, I don't know this about my wife, I don't know this about my husband. Yes, his best friend knows.
Yeah, you could have inside jokes with your best friend.
I don't want to have inside jokes with my best friend. No, if she's female, okay, yes, we can have inside jokes, we can chit chat, we can go for a girls' night out, but I cannot do that with a male best friend, can I?
You can.
And do what?
I know that there are the boundaries there. Your late nights end.
Please don't bring any best man.
9 p.m.
That's. I don't think that's viable. I don't think that's even something that anybody should think about.
It's possible. What if you guys had to meet someone? It was a business meet, and this your best friend is the person who has the link. Are you thinking about the bigger picture?
My husband will go and drop me there now.
Yeah, but this your bestie is there. He's the link. He's everything.
One would think that you as a man will be against this, but the fact that you're pushing this narrative.
If you don't trust the person you're marrying, then you shouldn't be married to them, regardless of besties or whatsoever.
I agree.
That's just what I
agree, but
I might be wrong.
But this relationships are very it's just something. I don't want to have to deal with another woman in my marriage because she's another woman.
She's not another woman.
She's not another woman.
She's not another woman. She's just someone who
your husband
been there.
Takes very seriously.
We don't go out on dates though.
Okay, but you guys can hang out with other friends when your wife is not there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because see, okay, that's one thing that I always say again. As a married person, you should have your own crowd, and I could have my own crowd.
No, let us merge crowds.
What if your crowd,
let everybody be friends together?
What if my crowd?
You're going out for a Kunle's birthday party. Oh, Kunle is our friend. Yes, let's go out for Kunle's birthday party. Oh, David is let's go out for David's party.
Have you ever been in a gathering with someone you're intimate with or you're friends with or whatsoever, and everything that's happening there while you're there, you're left out because the conversation is going right over your head and everything?
So guess what? That is the job of the husband. So if you come back from work and something happens with, let's say, Latasha, a friend of yours that is somewhere abroad, and Latasha is supposed to come back to Lagos in December, and you are not telling your wife, oh, Latasha did this. So can you imagine this about Latasha?
All your old schoolmates are going to be there. None of them are coming with their spouses.
Don't worry, I'm there. I'm the spouse that will have the conversation. It will not fly over my head. Oh, what are you guys talking about? I will ask the question. And you guys will say, what's this about? Is this inside gist, Abby? Don't worry, you guys. My husband will tell me when we get home.
But then I feel like, we need to set those boundaries. Set the boundaries. Don't make it such that your spouse would have to find out stuff or stumble on stuff and maybe have to have a oh, I'm finding this out. Oh, so this person and this person used to be involved.
Sorry to cut you. Like now, if you have a problem with your spouse and you don't want to have a conversation with them, guess who you got run to?
Your bestie.
Your best friend.
And that best friend. And your best friend now tell you, see, she's a woman, I'm a woman. You need to understand these things about women.
Please, can we
do this?
Can we end this?
And your bestie will tell you the best place to get those things that you need to buy for her.
In some cases.
In all cases.
In some cases.
If your bestie is not going to help you fix your relationship, she shouldn't be your bestie.
Okay, I'm glad that you have said this, but
that's what I'm telling you. That
no, I don't even still like it. I will never accept for there to be a best friend.
But if you had a male bestie, like who was?
He ceases to be the bestie the day I get married. Hello.
Are you serious?
My best friend, I don't even have a male best friend. But if I
cut him off.
No, not cut him off. He should even know to draw the boundaries from the get go. This mama don't marry you. Make her don't move back. Anytime. Oh, what's up? Are you guys have not even called me? Sorry, now you know how marriage is now. We have to take care of the
This
husband.
is what they say about married people. That you people just get married and you cut off all your single friends.
I will never cut off my single friends.
Did you see that? Did you just hear that? They are nodding.
I will not cut off my single friends.
Okay,
I will never do that because I've been with them. No, I even expect that for maybe some months. I've stayed away from my best friend for. I've not seen her. I've seen her only twice since she got married.
How do you think that made her feel?
I'm sure that she's fine. But
I don't think so.
I'm sure that she's fine. If we need to have conversations about anything, she'll call me and would have that conversation. But I didn't want to be that prying friend. Like, oh, what's up? Hey, let's hang out this weekend. She's married.
No, Allah.
Sometimes she needs to take permission from her husband and say, oh, babes, I'm going out with this person.
Congratulations to you and your friend.
I mean, this is pretty much all we can give you. If you think otherwise, if you think that it's something that you can work with, why not? If not, if you think that, you know what, I can't do this, then my darling, the choice is yours. Safeguard that marriage.
Me.
A lot of people are falling in and out of love every other day.
I have all my besties. They're still my besties, and my wife is happy. Congratulations to y'all, man.
Fantastic wife you've got.
Y'all need to come to my masterclass.
She's amazing.
I think my wife is accommodating. That's just all. And it's because we had a conversation a long time ago. But then boundaries and whatsoever. And if you
your best friend will become my best friend. Don't worry.
Yes.
All of us will live in the house together.
If you've ever been
in peace and harmony.
If you've ever been intimate with a bestie, I don't think they should still be your bestie while you're married, child. That's my own line.
Okay. I mean, that's good.
We've got to go right now. We've got beautiful songs coming in for you. And we told you that some divas are going to be here.
Divas, you call them?
Ooh.
Some witty, quirky.
Okay.
And what's better than one?
Okay. Okay. So we're about to get to that conversation right now. But when we come back, maybe this gives you a little bit of a hint. It's Santi. We'll be right back.
Baby boo, you see the things you do, darling, you are so amazing. I will never let you go. This you already know. My body, spirit, and soul. Take it all.